White heavy check mark. In the evening, as I was wearing a dress to meet my childhood friend, bullet comments suddenly appeared before my eyes. Once she steps into that cornfield, the female supporting character will first be harassed by thugs, then get pregnant by the male lead, and be forever nailed to the pillar of shame. Actually, the male and female leads suffered even more, just because the female supporting character got pregnant. The two of them missed out on most of their lives, fortunately. The ending was a happy one. It's all the female supporting character's fault for being so indecent. Why wasn't she raped by those two thugs? I stood frozen in place. Was that malice directed at me? Yet it was clearly Ning Ziyuan who had repeatedly urged me to go and meet him. The barrage of comments continued. After the male lead got married, he never touched the female supporting character again. Even the child she gave birth to liked the female lead. This was her retribution. The male lead is a university professor, and the female lead, thanks to a mentor and her own hard work, became a business queen. They are truly a match made in heaven. On the eve of her death, the female supporting character lay alone in bed on New Year's Eve, while the male lead, the female lead, and even her own child were enjoying a reunion dinner. The barrage was flooded with mockery and malice directed at me. It sends shivers down my spine. In that very moment, a flood of memories suddenly rushed into my mind. I have been reborn. I was reborn on the very night I had relations with Ning Ziyuan. The barrage only got it half right. In my previous life, on that very night, I went to meet Ning Ziyuan, thinking that he had finally noticed me following him and was going to confess his feelings to me, so I put on the plaid long skirt that I had always been reluctant to wear. However, when I arrived at the place, I was stopped by two thugs. They dragged me into the cornfield and attempted to rape me. If it weren't for Ning Ziyuan arriving in time, the consequences would have been unimaginable. However, as he looked at me with my torn dress, his eyes darkened, and his Adam's apple bobbed up and down. The moon was very bright that night. I, who had almost been raped by the villain, was left with nothing but fear, crying and shouting, no, but his overwhelming kisses still landed on me. Afterwards, he apologized to me in a hoarse voice. He also told me not to tell Zhang Yuyao, the female lead mentioned in the bullet comments. However, Zhang Yuyao had already witnessed the entire scene and ran away crying. I don't know how Ning Ziyuan managed to coax Zhang Yuyao, but a day later, the two of them made up. It wasn't until the day I experienced morning sickness that they broke up again. Originally, Ning Ziyuan and I were childhood sweethearts, while Zhang Yuyao was an educated youth who had come to the countryside. At that time, there were two university admission spots in the village, which were originally intended for Ning Ziyuan and me. Because of my morning sickness, someone reported me for being indecent. As a result, my spot was cancelled and given to Zhang Yuyao. Although Ning Ziyuan admitted that the child in my belly was his, he was not affected at all and went to university together with Zhang Yuyao. Moreover, it was only then that I found out, that night, those two thugs were hired by Zhang Yuyao. She wanted to ruin my reputation so I would lose my chance to go to university. I planned to report her to the village chief, but Ning Ziyuan stopped me and said that Zhang Yuyao had indeed hired those two thugs in the first place, but then I regretted it later. I even went to plead with the thugs, asking them not to lay a hand on me, but the thugs took a liking to me. Not only did they not listen to Zhang Yuyao, but they also slapped her. In the end, Ning Ziyuan looked at me with eyes full of disappointment. Wani, Yao Yao has already been punished. Do you still want to ruin her? You only nearly lost your innocence, but what Yao Yao lost was her love. I watched Ning Ziyuan grow increasingly despondent day by day after breaking up with Zhang Yuyao. I even began to think it was my own fault, so I kept this matter hidden in my heart. After marriage, he was always very cold to me. Even the child I gave birth to after a difficult labor and heavy bleeding doesn't like me, and even thinks it's a disgrace for his professor father to have a wife who only attended high school. I suddenly fell ill and died alone on New Year's Eve. If it weren't for those bullet comments, I wouldn't have known that during my lonely and helpless time, my husband and child are actually accompanying another woman. However, the bullet comments got one thing wrong. Ning Ziyuan did not avoid touching me. On the contrary, he was very enthusiastic about me. About that matter, a call of a partridge bird pulls my thoughts back. I should have realized it long ago. Ning Ziyuan is gentle and considerate towards Zhang Yuyao, attending to every detail, but towards me, he is impatient in every way. in my past life, I actually thought he just didn't know how to express his feelings. And I kept making excuses for him in every possible way, all because of that one sentence he said when we were young. When Ziyuan grows up, he'll marry Wani and bring her home as his wife. I willingly followed behind him, believing that one day he would turn around and look back at me. When I was little, every time I got scolded, he would always magically pull wild fruits out of his pocket to cheer me up. There was a vendor selling candied hawthorn in the village, and he didn't hesitate to buy me a stick. The money for the candied hawthorn was saved up over a long time from selling herbs he dug up. He would also carry me across the river when the water rose after heavy rain. He even said, "Everyone knows we're meant to be together sooner or later anyway, so what's there to be afraid of?" Until one day, Zhang Yuyao appeared, and everything changed. Now, combining the barrage comments and all the events from my past life, I finally realized that Ning Ziyuan is utterly rotten. On this night in my past life, he clearly didn't have to touch me. Even later on, he could have chosen to get a divorce. Thinking of this, I turned and walked away. In this life, I will not only keep that scumbag Ning Ziyuan forever under my feet, I will also take back everything that belongs to me from Zhang Yuyao. The next day, as soon as I picked up my meal from the cafeteria, I ran into the furious Ning Ziyuan and the aggrieved Zhang Yuyao. Ning Ziyuan questioned me, "Wani, why didn't you come last night?" As he spoke, he habitually took the meal from my hands. Accompanying Zhang Yuyao to the countryside was her younger brother. Her younger brother was frail and sickly, rarely able to work in the fields to earn work points, so she had to take care of him while earning her own points. Ning Ziyuan, in turn, felt sorry for Zhang Yuyao and worried that she wouldn't have enough to eat. So he shared his portion with her, and I, worried that Ning Ziyuan, being so tall and big, wouldn't have enough to eat, gave my share to him. As a result, I ended up starving myself to the point of looking pale and emaciated, and even developed stomach problems at a young age. At the very end, every time I was in so much pain that cold sweat poured down, all I got in return were Ning Ziyuan's two icy words, "pretentious." This time, I absolutely will not endure or yield anymore. I avoided Ning Ziyuan's outstretched hand and looked at him coldly. "Sorry, from today on, I won't be sharing my food with you anymore. I didn't go last night because I finally understood, you enjoy my kindness and don't want to push me away, yet on the other hand, you're sweet and affectionate with Zhang Yuyao, a two-timing scumbag like you. I look down on you." As soon as I finished speaking, the barrage erupted into arguments. The supporting female character is crazy, actually cursing our male lead. The male lead is practically the pinnacle of character design. He didn't reject her because he was afraid of hurting her feelings. Exactly, and if she had gone to the appointment last night, our female lead wouldn't have almost been violated by those two scumbags. Wait, don't you think the female supporting character has a point? I also feel like the male lead is a bit indecisive. Huh, he's the male lead after all. Isn't it normal for him to have many admirers? As for Ning Ziyuan, disbelief, embarrassment, and anger were all mixed on his face. He furrowed his brows tightly. "Wani, why are you playing hard to get? Do you think I'll like you because of this? Let me tell you, I only like Yao Yao. I've always just seen you as a little sister." Zhang Yuyao bit her lip, looking at her with starry eyes. When she turned to look at me, that familiar smug expression appeared again. I said impatiently, "Stop it. You can like whoever you want, it has nothing to do with me. I don't want to be your sister either. It's disgusting." Ning Ziyuan chuckled. "After all that, you're just unhappy about being just a sister. You're still thinking about me in your heart. Considering we grew up together, I won't hold your little schemes against you. But now, you must apologize to Yao Yao. If you hadn't been absent last night, Yao Yao wouldn't have. Anyway, this whole mess is entirely your fault." As he spoke, he tried to snatch the food from my hands again. "Consider these as your gesture of apology." I tightly guarded my food, frowning. "What does this have to do with me?" Ning Ziyuan glared at me. "Do you know that Yao Yao almost got?" Zhang Yuyao's expression tightened, and she pulled Ning Ziyuan, shaking her head to signal him not to say it. Ning Ziyuan looked at her with affection and patted her head. This kind of expression was something he had never given me since he met Zhang Yuyao. "Never mind what it is, it's because of you anyway, you must apologize." My eyes turned cold. When facing Zhang Yuyao, Ning Ziyuan actually knew to protect her reputation, but in my previous life, after I went through that incident, He went around telling people that I was almost raped. Many people said he was a good man for marrying me despite what I had been through. I couldn't be bothered to argue with the two of them. So I glanced at Zhang Yuyao and said, Zhang Yuyao, have you ever considered that what happened last night might be because Ning Ziyuan is bad luck for you? With that, I turned and walked away. The supporting female character is getting anxious. Well, the male lead's love for the female lead is truly admirable. Last night, the female lead was so distraught and desperate to be with him, yet the male lead didn't take advantage of her vulnerability. To love someone is to respect and protect them, unlike the female supporting character. The male lead never respected her, did he? As soon as I stepped onto the ground, those bullet comments popped up again, a bunch of brainless idiots who only know about love and romance. At that moment, I noticed someone lying in the ditch, looking as if they had fallen down. I intend to step forward and help him up. The annoying barrage of comments appears once again. The female lead's mentor has appeared. Don't be fooled by his current ragged and impoverished state. In just 2 years, he will be rehabilitated. He is a heavyweight in the academic world, and it is because the female lead gave him a steamed bun that she later becomes his last disciple, gaining all the connections and resources. So this is Zhang Yuyao's mentor. This is something I didn't know in my previous life. When I helped the person up and gave him the steamed bun from my arms, the bullet comments exploded. Hey, what is the supporting female character doing? She helped Professor Hao. What about our female lead? No, this is our female lead's connection. At first, the old man tried to push me away, his voice weak. Young lady, don't talk to me, it will only bring you trouble. I insisted, old sir, if you don't eat something, your body won't be able to take it. I thought, whether this old man was Professor Hao or just an ordinary person, in such situations, I always try my best to help others. After regaining his strength, Professor Hao picked up his hoe again and, trembling, headed back to the fields. Watching his receding figure, I murmured to myself, things will get better, our country will keep getting better and better. The next moment, Ning Ziyuan's voice sounded beside my ear. Wani, I knew you were just speaking in anger this morning, now you've obediently come to help me in the field. He took it upon himself to give me a way out, saying, as long as you explain clearly why you didn't come to meet me last night, I'll forgive you and allow you to follow me around as before. Oh, I almost forgot. This plot of land in front of me was assigned to Ning Ziyuan. I said expressionlessly, you're a grown man, yet you still need me to help you earn work points. Have you no shame? Ning Ziyuan's face flushed red for a moment as he choked back his words. Song Wani, don't push your luck. Do you think this will get my attention again? Let me tell you, don't even think about it. Unless you know what's good for you and go do my work for me, maybe I'll. Before Ning Ziyuan could finish, I let out a retching sound in his direction. Ugh, what a disgusting loser. Just looking at you makes me want to vomit. Ning Ziyuan's face turned cold. Fine, Song Wani, you've got guts. Don't come crawling back begging for my forgiveness later. I rolled my eyes at him. You piece of trash, get lost. After Ning Ziyuan stormed off in anger, the barrage of comments started up again. If the female supporting character doesn't help the male lead earn work points, he won't get the university spot. Does she know that as long as the male lead goes to university, he can become a pillar of the nation? Selfish jerk, no wonder no one cares for or loves her. I sneered coldly. In this era, anyone who goes to university can become a pillar of the nation. When it's time for work, I exceed the tasks assigned to me. This time, the village head gave me 2 extra work points, and praised me in front of the whole village, encouraging everyone to learn from me. At the same time, he also pointed out the issues with Ning Ziyuan and Zhang Yuyao, as neither of them had met their targets today. They also earned fewer work points. The others were in an uproar. This was because Ning Ziyuan usually exceeded his targets and would even help Zhang Yuyao with her work, so both of them always finished on time and were often praised as model workers. Only I knew that every time, I would first go and do most of the work that Ning Ziyuan was supposed to do, then quickly rush to do my own tasks. At noon, when the sun was scorching and everyone was resting in the shade, I was still busy working in the fields. I was afraid of not being able to finish on time. Without my help today, the two of them naturally couldn't finish on time. Unexpectedly, just as I was about to head home, Zhang Yuyao came and stopped me. She bit her lip and said reluctantly, Wani, if you don't like me being close to Brother Ziyuan, I'll stay far away from him from now on. But you can't not help him, he's going to college, you can't just ruin him like this, I sneered. I ruined him. Just because I didn't help him with his work, I ruined him. Are you all disabled with no hands or feet? You need help with everything. Ning Ziyuan caught up from behind, grabbed her, and frowned. Yao Yao, there's no need to beg her, we can do it ourselves. I don't want to keep dealing with these two disgusting things, so I turn to leave. But as soon as I turn around, Ning Ziyuan grabs me, Song Wani, leaving without even saying a word. No matter what, I'm still the brother you grew up with. How have you become so rude? Truly a thing born of a mother but raised without one. Ning Ziyuan's blurted out words instantly tightened my nerves, and I stared at him intently. My mother died from a difficult childbirth when giving birth to me, and my father resented me as a jinx, believing I had brought misfortune to my mother. My grandparents favored boys over girls, and from the moment I was born, they called me a worthless burden. I grew up living in a doghouse, doing the most work and eating the least food. When adults were slightly displeased, they would beat and scold me. Even the villagers called me a bastard and a beggar. That was my most humiliating past. I thought Ning Ziyuan was just a scumbag, but I never expected him to use this matter to attack me. When I was little, he coaxed me time and time again, saying, "Our Wani is not some unwanted wild child. Brother Ziyuan wants you. When Wani grows up, Brother Ziyuan will marry you and cherish you for a lifetime." It was the Ning Ziyuan of the past who pulled me up, so I worked tirelessly for him, earning work points, taking care of his parents, and raising the children, all in the hope that he would succeed. But it turns out, I never truly saw him for who he was. Ning Ziyuan seemed to realize he had said something wrong at that moment, but he still pressed on, adding with an unnatural expression, "Isn't that right, Wani? The country encourages love and mutual assistance among people. Who else is as cold and unfeeling as you? Your grandmother should have strangled you back then." Even the barrage, which had always disliked me, surprisingly spoke up for me. As the male lead's character collapsed, he deliberately poked at the female supporting character's sore spot. But soon, I was attacked by everyone, saying it was all my own fault and I deserved it. I took a deep breath. Even though I no longer liked Ning Ziyuan, that doesn't mean what he did was right. Slap. I gave Ning Ziyuan a slap across the face. Neither he nor Zhang Yuyao had anticipated this. I clenched my fists. You have someone to teach you how to take advantage of me and enjoy the fruits of my labor without a guilty conscience. If you ever say such things again, I'll hit you every time you do. Ning Ziyuan's eyes flashed with anger. And you? I pointed at Zhang Yuyao. You should also stay out of my sight. Just because you like this kind of trash doesn't mean I do. There's no need for you to show off in front of me. Zhang Yuyao's face flushed as her thoughts were laid bare, and she quickly tried to divert Ning Ziyuan's attention. She clutched her chest and collapsed into Ning Ziyuan's arms, feigning weakness as she said, "Brother Ziyuan, I'm not feeling well." Ning Ziyuan carried her as he rushed to the health center, turning to me with a harsh warning, "Song Wani, you'll regret this, crazy guy, crazy girl." A few days later, Ning Ziyuan wandered over to me again. Compared to before, he had visibly lost weight, and his face was much darker. I had just sat down to eat when Ning Ziyuan brought his own food and sat across from me, grabbing the coarse steamed bun in front of me and stuffing it into his mouth like a starving ghost. My brows were furrowed so tightly they could have crushed a fly. "Are you crazy? Stealing someone else's food?" Ning Ziyuan paid no attention. "Wani, don't be so distant. What do you mean by stealing? I was just afraid you couldn't finish it, so I helped you out. You should thank me." I didn't want to argue with him, so I called over the village chief. Everyone's food was rationed, and I'm not crazy. Why should I share with him? The village chief arrived, and Ning Ziyuan was still stubbornly insisting. "Chief, you've watched me and Wani grow up. We're not strangers. I even said when I was little that I'd marry her when I grew up." The village chief was in a difficult spot and looked at me. After all, I had always followed Ning Ziyuan around like a sidekick, and most of the food had been given to him. I even helped him earn work points. I said with a cold face, "Village chief, I disagree. He's just stealing." Ning Ziyuan frowned, looking very displeased. "Song Wani, are you really that petty? Just because of that little conflict before, you want to frame me? What does all these years of our relationship mean? Did all the times I protected you when we were kids go to the dogs? I was worried that without me around these days, you might have been bullied. After using the childhood favor to guilt-trip me, Ning Ziyuan reached out to hold my hand, trying to reconcile. Wani, I've missed you so much these past few days. Standing in the crowd, Zhang Yuyao trembled, biting her lip as she looked at him in disbelief. Then, forcing a smile, she chimed in, "Exactly, Wani. You have no idea how worried Brother Ziyuan has been about you. He's been thinking about you, his little sister, all this time, and hasn't even been eating properly." I cut them off. "Enough, Ning Ziyuan, as long as you don't bully me, no one else will. Without following you around, I can still eat my fill. My work is much easier. And I no longer have to toil in the fields under the midday sun." Village chief. There's no need to say more. He's just taking what's mine. Now, the village chief directly gave Ning Ziyuan a disciplinary action and also deducted his work points. As I left, I saw the resentful look in Ning Ziyuan's eyes. I remained unmoved. I heard that around noon, Zhang Yuyao habitually reached for food in front of Ning Ziyuan, but was yelled at. "Don't you have your own food? Can't you see I don't even have enough for myself? If it weren't for you, would I have gotten a disciplinary record?" Zhang Yuyao trembled, her eyes immediately reddening, tears welling up in her eyes. On the verge of falling, Ning Ziyuan was still somewhat impatient, but he held back. "Yao Yao, I'm not scolding you, but lately I feel like I don't even have the strength to work in the fields." In the afternoon, when we went to work in the fields, Ning Ziyuan's tasks were right next to mine. It seemed like he and Zhang Yuyao had gotten into another argument. This time, Zhang Yuyao ran away crying, and Ning Ziyuan didn't go to comfort her. There's also a feeling of finally being able to breathe a sigh of relief, so the deep and sincere love between the male and female leads is so easily shattered. It only takes 1 or 2 steamed buns, but the story isn't over yet. Their entanglement hasn't ended. Not long after, Zhang Yuyao returned, chatting and laughing with a man from the village, who then started helping her with her work. Ning Ziyuan's face was practically green with anger. As soon as I sat down to rest, he ran over to my side, deliberately glancing back at Zhang Yuyao in the middle of it, as if afraid she hadn't noticed his actions. "Wani, does our promise to go to university together still stand?" Ning Ziyuan asked me. The bullet comments that hadn't appeared in a long time resurfaced. The male lead hasn't had a full meal for several days in a row, and he's been helping the female lead earn work points, so it's normal for him to be in a bad mood. But the female lead is also very aggrieved. If the male lead can't consistently treat her well, he shouldn't make promises. The male lead has already been harsh to the female lead twice in a row. Anyone would find it unbearable. She's not even the supporting female character. Why be so nitpicky? Seeing that I didn't speak, Ning Ziyuan continued, "Wani, I admit I was a bit harsh to you before, but no matter what, we still have over 10 years of feelings between us. Didn't we agree to go to university together? I wouldn't feel at ease with you going to college alone." I grew impatient. "What exactly are you trying to say, Wani? As long as you help me earn work points, when the time comes and we both perform well, the village chief will surely give the spots to both of us." He looked at me with a deep, meaningful gaze. I laughed. "But you have a disciplinary record. Who would agree to let someone with a record go to college? And besides, didn't you say before that I shouldn't always follow you, that you like Zhang Yuyao and would only go to college with her?" He weakly defended himself. "What I said before doesn't count." But as he spoke, he kept glancing in Zhang Yuyao's direction, especially when he saw Zhang Yuyao wiping sweat off that boy's face. His expression turned green, and his mind was completely elsewhere. "Not on me at all," I sneered at him. "Then can I also think that everything you say is just bullshit?" However, at that moment, the boy grabbed Zhang Yuyao's hand. Ning Ziyuan rushed over in a flash, and the two of them started wrestling. Zhang Yuyao shouted for them to stop while giving me a smug smile. The two fought fiercely, even drawing blood. It wasn't until the village chief stepped in that the commotion was finally brought to a halt. Ning Ziyuan had struck too hard, knocking out 2 of the other person's teeth, and he was the one who had thrown the first punch. To quell the anger and give the beaten man an explanation, the village chief issued Ning Ziyuan a disciplinary action. He also announced on the spot that Ning Ziyuan would no longer be considered for either of the 2 university spots. After hearing the village chief's words, I raised the corner of my mouth. Finally, but this is not enough. Returning from the fields at night, I had just lain down on the bed when someone suddenly embraced me. Wani, I know you've always liked me, and you've been getting back at me all this time, but it's okay, I forgive you. Not only that, after tonight, I'll give you a proper status and marry you. In the darkness, Ning Ziyuan's voice sounded behind me, more terrifying than a ghost. I have never seen such a shameless person. A wave of disgust rose from the depths of my heart. Ning Ziyuan continued to state his conditions. From now on, behave yourself and don't cause trouble with me anymore. Don't bother Yao Yao either. She's a girl who has to take care of her younger brother, and it's not easy for her. You keep earning work points for me, and go plead with the village chief. Just say that what happened this morning was a misunderstanding, get my punishment revoked, and secure a university spot for me. You can stay at home and help take care of my parents. Even after all this, Ning Ziyuan still felt he was getting the short end of the stick and added, such a huge stroke of luck has fallen into your lap. You should be laughing secretly. From now on, you can't be so unreasonable anymore. After Ning Ziyuan finished speaking, his hands began to tear at my clothes, pressing me down onto the bed. That scent made me utterly nauseous. I was thinking about how to break free, but despite having plenty of strength, I was tightly restrained by Ning Ziyuan and couldn't use it. Just then, his stomach started rumbling. I tried my best to calm him down. Brother Ziyuan, you must be hungry, right? I still have some food in my cabinet. Let me get you something to eat first. Okay. Thanks to Ning Ziyuan's overconfidence, he actually believed I was going to get him food and let go of me. As soon as I stepped out of the room, I locked the door from the outside and started shouting at the top of my lungs, "Someone help!" Ning Ziyuan tried to rape me. The neighbors and the village chief quickly arrived, surrounding Ning Ziyuan. Ning Ziyuan's mother was the first to object, pointing at me and scolding, "Song Wani, you ungrateful wretch, you've long said you were my Ziyuan's woman. What's the big deal about sleeping with him? Why are you making such a fuss? Our Ziyuan is very innocent. It must be you, you little slut, who seduced him and then called everyone over to see. Just so you could marry into our family, shameless wretch, forcing a man into your bed. You're the most brazen hussy alive." As she spoke, she even tried to claw at me. I grabbed her hand, my gaze icy. "You old hag, if you dare lay a finger on me, I'll make sure your son dies." In this era, the crime of hooliganism carries a heavy penalty. Shined by the flashlight, Ning Ziyuan's face also looked a bit pale, but he was much calmer than his mother, because he was certain that I still liked him. "Wani, hurry up and explain. Just say it was you who seduced me. Don't worry, I promise you that what I said won't change. At worst, I'll just stop interacting with Zhang Yuyao in the future and only like you." I didn't move, just smiled faintly. Then, word by word, I said, "No way." I turned to look at the village chief. "I want to report this to the police. I want to send him to prison." I leaned closer to Ning Ziyuan and said, "I want you dead." Ning Ziyuan finally panicked. He didn't know where such deep hatred came from, but he could tell I wasn't joking. "Wani, I was wrong. Please don't call the police. I really know I was wrong. I'll stay far away from you from now on. Please let me go this once." "Okay." Ning Ziyuan's mother also panicked. The curses she had intended to hurl at me all turned into pleas for mercy. She even bent her knees and knelt on the ground, kowtowing to me. "Wani, dear, don't be so heartless. For the sake of the meals I gave you when you were little, can't you let Ziyuan go? Name your conditions. We'll compensate you. As long as you don't send him to prison, we'll agree to whatever you want." In the village, relationships and connections are highly valued, and it's rare for people to truly break ties, especially when they're related or have close ties. Others also chimed in with a few kind words, urging me not to be too harsh. Even the village chief came to persuade me. I knew he was afraid the Ning family would be driven to desperate measures. Fortunately, I wasn't setting up this whole scene just to send him to jail. With a face full of grievance, I burst into tears. "Can't I even demand an explanation? I'm the one who was wronged. Someone asked me what I wanted." Ning Ziyuan's mother also promised, "Whether you want money or things, just say it, we'll give it all." I want him beaten 20 times with a stick, and one of his legs broken. Not long after Ning Ziyuan was carried back home, the village was about to start selecting candidates for university based on everyone's performance. there were many educated youth from the city and the village, all eyeing those 2 university spots. Unexpectedly, Zhang Yuyao dared to jump in front of me. "Wani, I'll soon be going to university, so I'll have to trouble you to take care of Brother Ziyuan from now on. After all, it was you who had his legs broken." Zhang Yuyao was quite clear-headed. After Ning Ziyuan became useless, she quickly found another man in the village to be her blood-sucking target. Unfortunately, no matter who she finds, I won't let her get her way. Little Tiger Bot prevents file theft. For book-finding robots, choose Little Tiger, stable, reliable, and no pitfalls. She suddenly leaned close to me. "Do you know who the original spot was supposed to go to? I was supposed to give it to you, but the village chief has a hold over me, so the spot had to go to me instead. You must be really angry, right? The things you want, I always get them so effortlessly." She didn't miss a single expression on my face. The barrage of comments joined in the frenzy. Finally felt satisfied. I was so pissed when the supporting female character broke the male lead's leg. Stupid supporting female character, go die. That scared me to death. With the supporting female character wreaking havoc earlier, I thought the university spot wouldn't go to the female lead. Our female lead is going to have a glorious future ahead. The plot has already collapsed into this mess, and I still haven't dropped it. Who has a male lead who's a cripple? Unbelievable. The bullet comments quickly erupted into an argument. Some people are cursing the male and female leads, while others are cursing me. I remain expressionless, even feeling that Zhang Yuyao and the barrage are a bit too noisy, but my lack of reaction also displeases Zhang Yuyao. "Wani, what do you mean? Why aren't you saying anything? Why aren't you jealous?" Zhang Yuyao furrows her brows, gritting her teeth. "You should be angry, you should be jealous, jealous to the point of madness." Watching Zhang Yuyao's face gradually contort, only 3 words came to my mind: what a lunatic. In my past life, I was indeed angry and jealous to the point of madness. The person who promised to protect me for a lifetime turned around and went to protect someone else. While they were enjoying a family reunion, I was left alone, waiting for death. Of course, I should feel hatred and anger, but I won't let hatred consume me entirely. Instead, I will reclaim everything that belongs to me and live a better life. I looked at Zhang Yuyao and smiled. "What makes you so sure you'll get the spot?" Zhang Yuyao retorted. "What do you mean? Guess." The next day, 2 major events occurred in the village. The first was a rumor about me, saying I'm improper, secretly meeting with troublemakers, including the matter with Ning Ziyuan. I was the one who initiated it. Because Ning Ziyuan refused to marry me, I played the victim by accusing others, just as someone was about to point fingers at me. Suddenly, someone in the village shouted loudly, "Come and see, Zhang Yuyao is lying naked with 2 men." No one was interested in me anymore, and they all rushed to the educated youth point. I followed along to join in the excitement. What a coincidence. The 2 men tangled up with Zhang Yuyao were exactly the 2 troublemakers I was rumored to have secretly met. Zhang Yuyao was wrapped in a bedsheet, crying her heart out. How did it come to this? My innocence, my future, it's all gone. It shouldn't have turned out like this. Until she saw me in the crowd, Zhang Yuyao, with a ferocious expression, lunged at me, trying to strangle me. "It's you, Song Wani, it's you, you bitch, who did this to me. You bribed them to rape me, you hate me for spreading rumors about you in the village, and you hate me for taking your university spot, so you want to take revenge on me, to ruin me just like you ruined Ning Ziyuan." Zhang Yuyao was stopped before she could get close to me, and no matter how hard she struggled, it was useless. So I could only watch as my eyes reddened and I started wiping away tears. "Sister Yumiao, what are you talking about? If you hadn't just brought it up, I wouldn't have even known the rumors were spread by you." "But why? Haven't I been good enough to you? I helped you and Ning Ziyuan with your work, shared food with you. Why do you all want to harm me?" Perhaps because one of us looked too crazy and the other too fragile and pitiful. The villagers had already made their judgment. They all pointed at Zhang Yuyao, scolding her for gossiping and calling her a cheap flirt who loves to seduce men. They even listed all the men she had flirted with. "Ugh, you little tramp, you've caused nothing but trouble since you came to the village." Zhang Yuyao seemed completely broken by the scolding. With only an unmistakable hatred left in her eyes, I lowered my head and smiled at her from an angle only she could see. Of course, it couldn't be me. I just went to see Ning Ziyuan last night to catch up and said a few words to him. They were clearly two people so deeply in love, who had promised to share both joys and hardships together, yet, one ended up as a disabled person despised by everyone, while the other is about to go to college, destined for a bright and glorious future. It's really unfair, I sighed to Ning Ziyuan. What a pity, you were so good to her, and you even took the punishment and lost your spot because of her. I wonder if she'll remember your kindness and lend you a hand when she rises to success in the future. Before leaving, I glanced at his leg again. Zhang Yuyao is bound to marry well someday, while you, a cripple. I shook my head and walked away. Ning Ziyuan is a selfish and petty man. The end justifies the means. I just didn't expect him to be so ruthless, directly hiring thugs to ruin Zhang Yuyao's innocence. I thought she would prefer Zhang Yuyao to marry him, but no matter what, Zhang Yuyao won't be able to attend university. 2 university spots were ultimately given, one to me and the other to a female educated youth who had been teaching in the village. On the day I set off to report to the university, a wedding celebration was taking place in the village. Ning Ziyuan and Zhang Yuyao were getting married. The night before, Ning Ziyuan had come to see me, tell me the news that he is going to marry Zhang Yuyao. One is hard to marry off, the other is hard to marry. Truly the male and female leads, a perfect match made in heaven. No matter how many twists and turns, they can still end up together. I think it's quite good, at least much better than reuniting only in their old age in the previous life. However, with two people who can't work or earn money, and without me slaving away like an ox, their lives should become even more interesting. The village farewell procession and the wedding procession just passed each other by. Long-lost bullet comments appeared, though tinged with a hint of weariness. I'm so frustrated. What kind of crappy plot is this? Why have the male and female leads turned into this mess? It was supposed to be a satisfying, sweet story, but now they've been crushed into dust by the supporting female character. The male and female leads are useless. Why not just kill off the female supporting character from the start, or have her raped by thugs, so she can't keep causing trouble? I'm really dropping this now. What a trashy story. The number of comments criticizing me has decreased a lot, but I'm still very annoyed. I flipped the bird at the air and started fighting back. If you can't stand me but can't kill me, then you're the useless ones. I'm going to college, envy me. You bunch of losers who never went to college. Damn, can she see us? If the supporting female character doesn't take the plot seriously, that's one thing, but how dare she insult us? You're the useless one, trash. The barrage of insults was fierce, but I gave as good as I got, and all of this, until I stepped through the university gate. With the sound of shattering glass, the barrage of comments completely vanished. I knew that from then on. I was no longer a supporting character serving the plot. I am who I am. University life, well, it's quite competitive. Everyone is racing against time to learn, afraid of missing even a little or falling behind. The opportunity is too rare to waste. But we all know one thing, having endured hardships, we will surely see the light. After graduation, I returned to the village once. By then, the National College entrance examination had been reinstated. Some educated youths had returned to the cities. Some had been admitted to universities, and only a few remained in the village. The village itself hadn't changed much. I went back to see Uncle the village head. He had married Aunt Wang and started a new family. It was the leverage that Zhang Yuyao had once used to threaten the village chief's uncle. But with one being a widower and the other a widow, what kind of leverage could there be in their pure and innocent interactions? I also saw Ning Ziyuan and Zhang Yuyao, seemingly worn down by life. Both of them appeared prematurely aged despite their youth. Zhang Yuyao had a hard time living with the Ning family. According to the villagers, Ning Ziyuan would often beat and scold her, or even withhold food from her. Zhang Yuyao had thought about running away, but the Ning family kept a close watch on her. If she ever spoke a few extra words with any man in the village, Ning Ziyuan would threaten to report the man for harassment. No one dared to help her. Women are no different. Ever since the Ning family's son became disabled, they became the village's feared figures. Anyone who dared to stand up for Zhang Yuyao would be met with a torrent of abuse from Ning Ziyuan's mother. Over time, no one dared to get involved in their troubles. Ning Ziyuan found another way to trap Zhang Yuyao forever in this small mountain village. Over the years, Zhang Yuyao has lost 3 children, and her already poor health has been further worn down. Her expression is numb, her eyes lifeless. Only when she saw me did she show a hint of hatred, and it seemed to liven her up a bit. She charged at me with a sickle, shouting angrily, "I'll kill you, I'll kill you." Then she was easily stopped. I kindly told her, the little thugs back then really weren't hired by me. "If you don't believe me, go ask your husband," he added. "I don't know if you still remember, but I once said that Ningzi Yuan is your nemesis." I stayed in the village for quite a few days. On the day I was about to leave, a funeral was being held in the village. It was still Ningzi Yuan and Zhang Yuyao. They were said to have perished together. I stride forward, return to the city to become Professor Hao's final disciple and continue my studies. After hearing the first story above, what are your thoughts? Feel free to share your opinions in the comments section. Next, there is another similar story. Let's continue to see. Years after graduation, the classmate I secretly admired in high school became a big star. We meet again at a class reunion, and he looks cold and distant. "May I ask who you are?" Everyone thought Pei Wang had already forgotten about me, until the news of my accidental death came back, and while my best friend was sorting through my belongings, she unintentionally discovered the love letters Pei Wang had written to me in the past. "Jiang Wei, having a secret crush is too painful. I don't want to like you anymore." Looking further down, there was a line of small text, "Forget it. I was just kidding." That night, the news of Pei Wang's suicide for love made it to the trending topics. When I opened my eyes again, I had returned to the day of the class reunion. I looked at Pei Wang, who was expressionless in front of me, and tentatively took out my phone to send him a message. The next second, his special notification sounded. "Pei Wang, I died on a snowy day. While out seeking inspiration, I unexpectedly got lost, became trapped on the mountain, encountered snowfall, and died from hypothermia. It was a rather undignified death. My best friend, Zhou Yuan, rushed over immediately upon receiving the news. When she came to claim the body, she cried so hard she could barely catch her breath. Jiang Wei, how could you bear to leave me behind like this? Even if Pei Wang doesn't remember you anymore, you still have me." My soul floated in midair, and upon hearing these words, I cringed so hard I could have dug a hole in the ground with my toes. If I weren't already stone-cold dead, I would have rushed over to cover her mouth. This girl, the uncle already said it was an accidental death, but in her words, it sounds like I couldn't handle a breakup and did something drastic. Can't you just let me leave a little innocence in this world? But clearly, Zhou Yuan didn't see it that way. For some reason, she insisted on believing that my death was related to Pei Wang and immediately pulled out her phone to make a call. Pei Wang's phone rang for a long time before it was finally answered. "Hello." A hoarse male voice came from the other end of the phone, as if he had just been woken from sleep. "Zhou Yuan, what's the matter?" "I just finished an all-night shoot last night." "Pei Wang," Zhou Yuan interrupted him, her tone filled with sorrow. "Jiang Wei is dead." After she spoke, I heard a long silence on the other end of the line. Even though I'm already a ghost, I can't help but feel a glimmer of hope in my heart. What would Pei Wang's reaction be if he knew I had died? Would he be sad, or would he think it was just the death of someone insignificant? After all, at the class reunion a few days ago, his attitude toward me was so cold. Faced with the teasing from those around us, he just asked coldly, "May I ask who you are?" As soon as the words were spoken, the air around us seemed to freeze. Meeting his indifferent gaze, I felt the courage I had mustered before leaving home vanish into thin air. In the end, I could only open my mouth and force out a sentence, "No, it's nothing." Then I lowered my eyes, not daring to look up again. Actually, it's not that I can't understand. He is now a top-tier celebrity, and it has been 6 years since we graduated. He doesn't remember me, and that's a good thing. Otherwise, I always feel guilty toward him. "Pei Wang, didn't you hear what I said?" There was no response from the other end of the phone for a long time, and Zhou Yuan tearfully questioned him. "I said Jiang Wei is dead." "She's dead." Thud, a heavy object hitting the ground was heard from the other end. Pei Wang seemed to be clenching his teeth, his voice trembling. "I don't believe it." The next second, the call was disconnected. Zhou Yuan stared at the hung-up phone, crying and fuming. She immediately took a photo of my death report and sent it to him, then blocked him. I wanted to comfort her, but my outstretched hand passed right through her body. In the end, I could only gently embrace her through the air. "Don't cry, silly girl. on the 5th day after my death, Zhou Yuan brought my ashes back to N City. I didn't have many relatives in the country. My only brother was on a business trip abroad when he got the news and is now rushing back on a plane. When Zhou Yuan returned to my home with the ashes, my ragdoll cat had already been starving for 2 days. When I left, I had left 3 days worth of cat food, thinking I would be back soon, but I never made it back. Zhou Yuan used to come over to my place often, so when she saw her opening the door, the little kitten immediately pounced on her, acting cute and begging for food. Perhaps the scene stirred up emotions, and Zhou Yuan nearly burst into tears again. Once the cat food was poured, the little kitten immediately rushed over to devour its meal. Meanwhile, Zhou Yuan walked into the study and began sorting through my belongings. I am a full-time writer, and I spend more time in my study than in my bedroom. The desk remains exactly as I left it, with a photo frame in front of the computer showing a group photo of me and my close friends from high school. In the photo, Zhou Yuan is affectionately holding my arm as we stand in the center, while Pei Wang is positioned on the far right, with others in between. I am smiling at the camera, while Pei Wang's gaze is subtly directed toward me. Zhou Yuan was currently so angry at Pei Wang that she turned away to finish packing up the other things. Just as she was about to pick up the photo frame, the little kitten, having just eaten its fill, came over. Seeing Zhou Yuan reach for the photo frame, the kitten made a sudden dash and stretched out its paw. Crash! The photo frame fell to the ground, shattering the glass into pieces. Zhou Yuan was startled. Only after picking up the kitten did she notice that there seemed to be something inside the frame's interlayer on the floor. Meow! The kitten in her arms, realizing it had caused trouble, let out a pleading cry. Zhou Yuan bent down and pulled the letter from the shattered photo album's interlayer. Upon opening it, she discovered it was actually a love letter. Now, not only Zhou Yuan but even I was puzzled. The letter inside the envelope had already yellowed, yet the handwriting on it remained sharp and clear. Every word and sentence was filled with the other person's subtle yet profound secret affection. Jiang Wei, having a crush is too painful. I don't want to like you anymore. Looking further down, there was also a line of small text. Forget it, I was just kidding you. When our gazes fell to the bottom right corner, both Zhou Yuan and I froze. The signature read Pei Wang, the current top star in the entertainment industry. He was also my high school desk mate whom I had a crush on for many years. It suddenly came back to me. This photo frame was indeed given to me by Pei Wang during our senior year of high school. Over the years, I've moved many times, but this photo frame has always stayed with me, placed by my computer for so long. I just never imagined back then that there was still this secret hidden inside the frame's layers. Recalling that last phone call, Pei Wang gritted his teeth, his voice trembling as he uttered the words, I don't believe it. My heart ached with a bitter, uncomfortable pain. So even ghosts can feel sadness. I watched as Zhou Yuan immediately pulled out her phone and removed Pei Wang from the blacklist, but before the call could even be connected, a notification for a trending topic on Weibo popped up at the top of the phone screen. Hashtag Pei Wang's suicide hashtag. In the next second, Zhou Yan almost tremblingly tapped on that trending topic. Then, she saw a video posted just over 10 minutes ago by a marketing account with millions of followers. In the scene, an ambulance is parked at the entrance of a high-end villa, surrounded by security guards and staff. Finally, the camera pans, and everyone sees the hand hanging from the ambulance stretcher, slender-boned, with an excessively pale complexion. Dark red liquid drips from the fingertips, splattering onto the ground and blooming like flowers. Pei Wang committed suicide by cutting his wrist at home tonight. The contents of the suicide note suggest a love-related motive. I stared at the two glaringly prominent words, Suicide Pact, in the title. And for a moment, my mind seemed to lose the ability to think. No, it can't be. It shouldn't be like this. How could he die? How could he possibly die? In an instant, countless memories flashed through my mind, scenes from the past replaying like a revolving lantern. Finally, it settled on that winter day with heavy snow falling. 17-year-old Pei Wang stood at the foot of the school building steps, reaching out his hand to me. Then it settled, Jiang Wei. He looked at me with a gentle smile, his eyes crinkling at the corners, and the slight curve of his lips was so tender it was almost unbelievable. If I become a big star in the future, you'll be my manager. As the words fell, a strong wind blew, covering the entire world in pure white snow. It all felt like a dream. Jiang Wei, Jiang Wei. I suddenly snapped back to reality. What are you spacing out for? Pei Wang is here. Looking at Zhou Yuan's concerned face, I felt my eyes instantly well up with tears. How wonderful. I had actually gone back to the day of the class reunion. The next second, I looked up and met Pei Wang's gaze just as he turned to look at me. The moment our eyes met, I almost immediately guessed what he was going to say next. May I ask who you are? Why are you crying? The voice from memory overlapped with the one in my ear. I stared at him blankly. What? Unlike in my previous life, Pei Wang didn't ask who I was. He only frowned slightly and repeated coldly, "Why are you crying?" As he spoke, he seemed to instinctively reach out, but upon noticing the surroundings, he abruptly stopped the motion. Then he turned his face away, his brows furrowing even tighter. I raised my hand to touch my face, only then realizing that tears had unknowingly fallen. Jiang Wei, Zhou Yuan beside me finally noticed something was off. What's wrong? Are you feeling unwell somewhere? And no, I'm fine. I took a deep breath, hastily wiped the tears from my face, and pretended to rub my eyes a few times. Probably an eyelash accidentally fell into my eye. So embarrassing. Why did I still cry in front of him? Pei Wang must have found it utterly baffling. I cautiously glanced up at him. He was talking to Zhou Yuan. Zhou Yuan currently works as an editor at a fashion magazine, making her the only person present who has professional contact with Pei Wang. That's why, in my past life after I died, she was able to reach out to Pei Wang. The class reunion was organized a month in advance, and knowing that Pei Wang would attend, many people showed up today. Even as the dishes started being served, numerous eyes remained fixed on Pei Wang. Some people seem to be born to be the main character. He only needs to sit there to become the focus of the entire room. With Zhou Yuan sitting between us, I kept my head down and ate quietly. Being able to see him again is already more than enough. In this life, as long as I don't die, he won't die either. After 3 rounds of drinks, the class monitor walked over with a glass of wine, insisting on toasting Pei Wang. Big star, I really didn't think you'd come. You're really giving us face this time. Pei Wang smiled, graciously picked up his glass, and took a small sip. The class monitor's gaze then fell on Zhou Yuan and me sitting beside him, and he seemed to frown slightly. Are you, Jiang Wei? As soon as the words were spoken, the other old classmates who had been toasting each other all turned to look. It really is you. Seeing me nod, the class monitor was somewhat excited. You suddenly transferred schools in our senior year of high school, and then we lost contact. I thought you wouldn't come to the class reunion. Come to think of it, you were actually desk mates with our big star back in the day. As soon as these words were spoken, I could clearly feel Pei Wang's gaze follow his words and land on me. Is that so? I heard Pei Wang's tone was neither warm nor cold, as if he didn't care at all that there was someone like me. I've long forgotten. The food in the bowl had grown a bit cold. I chewed and swallowed, the tip of my tongue slightly astringent. In the winter of my senior year of high school, I suddenly transferred schools due to family reasons. Just the day before, we were still dreaming about the future together, and the next day, all contact was suddenly lost. In the years that followed, the only person who still kept in touch with me was Zhou Yuan. She came from a good family and had heard a bit about my family situation, but she never deliberately brought it up in front of me. The following summer, Pei Wang emerged out of nowhere in a talent show, winning the championship of that season in one fell swoop. That summer, his name spread through every street and alley, and that face I knew so well appeared on countless family television screens. Occasionally, when passing by shopping malls, his songs would play over the speakers. It seemed that overnight, I went from being the deskmate who shared a desk with him to just one in a million among his Weibo followers, and I can finally say openly that the person I like is named Pei Wang. The days of studying far from home were tough. Several times, I had already opened Pei Wang's chat window, only to fall into a long silence upon seeing the history of our past conversations. Jiang Wei. Where are you, Jiang Wei? You're late. Jiang Wei, what happened? Jiang Wei, it's snowing, remember to bring an umbrella. Further down, there were over a dozen missed calls and countless messages of concern. The last message was sent at midnight. 9 hours later, Jiang Wei, I'm not waiting for you anymore. That day happened to be New Year's Eve. We had agreed to meet, but in the end, I stood her up. The words in the dialog box were typed and then deleted, deleted and then typed, in the end. The other side suddenly called. I was startled, and after seeing the caller on the screen clearly, I subconsciously answered the call. The next second, I heard the familiar sound of breathing coming from the other end. My throat was sore and hoarse. I opened my mouth but didn't know what to say. Jiang Wei, the person on the other end almost gritted their teeth. Speak, what do you mean by typing for so long? I took a deep breath and spoke softly. Are you okay? The breathing on the other end of the line hitched. I had imagined countless times what I would say when I reunited with Pei Wang. In the end, all I could do was listen to his cold tone through the phone screen, from a distance. Thanks to you, I'm doing just fine. After a long silence, I said in a dry tone, well, then I wish you all the best in the future, a skyrocketing career, and a smooth path to stardom. Beep. The call was hung up on the other end. All that was left was me, staring at the phone screen, crying and laughing. Later, he truly did as I had said, skyrocketing to fame and enjoying a smooth path to stardom. The obscure yet grand crush of my youth has thus come to an end. The meal was incredibly lively, throughout. Zhou Yuan tried countless times to catch my eye with meaningful glances, but I pretended not to notice and ignored them. I knew that Pei Wang hadn't truly forgotten me. After all, out of more than 40 people in the class, he could call out everyone's name, yet he was only cold toward me. It's hard to say it wasn't intentional. As the gathering was about to end, I got up and went to the restroom. On my way back, passing by the terrace, I happened to run into Pei Wang, who had come out for some fresh air. Seeing me, he casually rolled up his sleeves, revealing the well-defined muscles of his forearms, then deftly shook a cigarette out of the pack. Glancing at me briefly, he bit down on the filter and asked, "Mind if I smoke?" I shook my head. The private room was well heated, so I had taken off my coat when I entered. Having been outside for a while now, I was shivering from the cold and sneezed. The next moment, Pei Wang, who had been about to light the cigarette, closed the lighter again. I looked at him with confusion. What's wrong? Not smoking again. But I have to admit, the moment when Pei Wang casually bit the cigarette holder and glanced up at me was filled with the charm of a mature man. This was a side of Pei Wang I had never seen before. I withdrew my gaze, rubbing my arms, and was just about to head back to the private room when, Jiang Wei, the person behind me, suddenly called out my name. I instinctively turned to look at him. Then I saw the man who had just been wearing a cold expression, now with anger flickering in his eyes. He almost gritted his teeth, squeezing out a sentence from his mouth. If I don't come looking for you, will you never come looking for me? I was a bit slow to react, dazedly opening my mouth to say, but, it was you who pretended not to know me first. Shut up, he glared over. Oh, I immediately lowered my eyes again, seeing this. Pei Wang was so angry he laughed outright. Jiang Wei, do you have any conscience at all? What a thing to say. I wanted to quietly argue back, but after thinking it over, I decided to just let him have his way. You're the big star, you're always right. Pei Wang, he irritably ran his fingers through his hair, then turned and strode back into the private room. I jogged to catch up. When I entered, the dinner had just ended. Zhou Yuan was looking for me. And when she saw me returning with Pei Wang, her eyes instantly turned suggestive. Oh, did you two go out to catch up? Did Pei Wang remember you? I thought for a moment and nodded. Holding a grudge counts too. Pei Wang, standing nearby, snorted coldly. Before the gathering ended, the class monitor gathered everyone to create a new group chat, making it easier to organize the next reunion. Pei Wang changed his contact information after his debut, so the class monitor asked Zhou Yuan to add him to the group. Zhou Yuan was busy catching up with old friends and casually called out to me, "Jiang Wei, add Pei Wang's alternate account." Oh, I took out my phone and scrolled through my contact list. I had added both Pei Wang's main and alternate accounts back in the day, but it had been so many years since we last contacted each other that I wasn't entirely sure, so I tentatively opened the chat window for Pei Wang's alternate account. Before the Pei Wang beside me could react, I quickly sent a sticker over. The next second, I heard the phone of the person next to me chime. Pei Wang frantically tried to turn off the screen, but I still caught a fleeting glimpse of the words, "special attention," flashing across it. Pei Wang, me, what should I do? Should I pretend I didn't see it? Before I could even think of a way to help Pei Wang save face, Zhou Yuan struck again. Perfect timing, Pei Wang. Isn't your agent coming to pick you up? You can give Jiang Wei a ride on the way, huh? Pei Wang immediately furrowed his brows, his tone somewhat reluctant. Why should I be the one to take her? I've had a drink too, otherwise, at this late hour, should she just take a taxi back alone? That would be too pitiful. Pei Wang glanced at me sideways. I had just put on my overcoat, and before heading out, all I could think about was meeting Pei Wang tonight. I forgot that it might snow later. So I obediently fastened the top button, but a small section of my neck was still exposed. I was wondering whether I should hunch my neck a little. After all, Pei Wang was still sulking, so he probably wouldn't care what I was wearing. The next second, Pei Wang casually grabbed the scarf Zhou Yuan had draped over the chair and, in a few quick motions, wrapped it around my neck. He moved so swiftly that before I could even react, I was bundled up in the scarf, with only my eyes peeking out. All right, Pei Wang finally tied a knot and met my eyes. I blinked twice, the scarf was wrapped too tightly, and I forcefully exhaled, causing my bangs to flutter. Pei Wang seemed to want to laugh but held it back with effort. Don't overthink it, he warned me with a stern face. I was worried there might be paparazzi outside. If they caught a clear shot of your face, it would be trouble. I thought for a moment and tried to mimic the tone of a gossip account. Shocking. Pei Wang secretly meets a mysterious woman late at night, suspected romance exposed. What on earth are you looking at all day long? With that, he quickly turned and walked outside. Follow me. Oh, by the time they reached the underground garage, Pei Wang's agent, Brother Zhou, had already been waiting for quite some time. Seeing Pei Wang striding towards the car, he rolled down the window to speak, only to catch sight of me behind Pei Wang, my face tightly wrapped in a scarf. Sneaking along with a furtive jog, the agent, what on earth is going on? An old classmate, just giving a ride along the way, Pei Wang said as he got into the car. I thought for a moment and opened the passenger door. On the way back, Brother Zhou tried several times to see my true face through the tightly wrapped scarf, but ultimately failed. He seemed to hesitate, wanting to speak but holding back. Finally, he asked, "Aren't you feeling stuffy? The heater in the car is on quite high." I don't dare take it off. I'm afraid of being scolded or getting filmed and posted online, I replied honestly. Brother Zhou was amused. You and Pei Wang were high school classmates. Was he this bad-tempered back in high school? As soon as the words were spoken, Pei Wang in the back seat let out a dissatisfied tisk. I thought for a moment and said, "Not really, he was a good person in high school, at least he was good to me." Then how did he change so drastically after graduating from high school? Another scoff came from Pei Wang in the back seat. I'm not saying anything, feeling very guilty. Even the agent could tell something was off. Pei Wang, what's going on with you? If you're uncomfortable, just scratch. I'm chatting with an old classmate. Who are you groaning and moaning for? You've already delivered the person. Why do you have so much nonsense? Pei Wang's face turned cold again. The agent fell silent, throwing me a helpless look. It wasn't until the car stopped at the entrance of my residential complex that I thanked the agent and prepared to get out. As soon as I pushed the door open, the cold air outside rushed in eagerly, and a crystalline chill melted at my fingertips. Oh, it's snowing. Cough, cough. Pei Wang in the back seat suddenly coughed a few times, closed the door. Brother Zhou, unfazed. Explain to me. Sorry about that. He had a serious illness before, so he's a bit fragile in the winter. I was taken aback for a moment, then softly advised the person in the back seat. It's been cold lately. If your throat is bothering you, maybe you should cut back on smoking. As soon as I finished speaking, I saw the agent looking utterly astonished. What smoking? Pei Wang doesn't smoke. How dare a public figure like him smoke? If he gets caught, he'll be torn apart by the public. Pei Wang kicked the front seat hard, covering his mouth as he coughed, his face turning bright red. Shut up, or I'll beat you up. Bang, the car door slammed shut. I stared blankly at the receding silhouette of the car. After a moment's thought, I pulled out my phone and sent a message to Zhou Yuan. Jiang Wei, how do you cheer up an angry guy? Zhou Yuan replied quickly over there. Zhou Yuan, did you make Pei Wang angry? Jiang Wei, not exactly. He got angry out of shame after he was exposed. Zhou Yuan, what did he expose? He has a crush on me. I didn't dare say it directly to Zhou Yuan, so I had to change the subject. Jiang Wei, I thought about it and decided not to go traveling after all. If I don't go traveling to find inspiration, I won't die by accident either. It took Zhou Yuan a long time to reply. Zhou Yuan, perfect timing, I'll give you something to do. I didn't find out until the next day what Zhou Yuan meant by giving me something to do, early in the morning. She rushed to my house and told me to pack up and get ready to take the cat out. The crew that Pei Wang is currently filming with is short a cat actor. I happen to know the producer, and last night I saw him post on social media asking for help. I immediately thought of your little cat and signed you up right away. Hehe, since Pei Wang is still angry with you, it proves he definitely still remembers you. Just show up around him more often, and over time, he might just get over it. After saying that, she stepped on the gas and dropped me right at the entrance of the film set. Alright, I have something to take care of later, I'll come pick you up tonight. I didn't even have time to refuse before she handed me and the cat over to the crew. Meow, the little kitten snuggled into my arms, showing off the clingy nature of a ragdoll cat to the fullest. What an adorable kitten, the director will definitely be pleased. The crew member praised, hearing my child being complimented. I couldn't help but smile. As soon as I entered the film set, the little troublemaker in my arms flipped over and jumped out of my embrace. I was startled and immediately joined the staff in chasing after the cat. It happened to be the break time, and several actors were sitting on nearby lounge chairs, reading their scripts. Hearing the commotion, everyone turned to look, and upon seeing that the culprit was a little kitten, they all broke into affectionate smiles. What an adorable little kitten. What color sack does Mimi like? TSK TSK TSK, come here, look over here, big sister has some tasty treats. Amidst the clamor, the person on the innermost lounge chair was finally awakened. The man reached out to remove the script covering his face to block the light, his brows slightly furrowed as he was about to speak. Sorry, the kitten got away. I ran over, still catching my breath, and finally cornered the suspect. Meow in front of the actors. Meow. The little one thought I was playing with it and, wagging its tail, darted onto the lounge chair, but it didn't expect to be caught by the scruff of its neck by a slender, bony hand. The next second, I met Pei Wang's gaze and instinctively shouted, "Baby, don't grab that." Thud, the script in Pei Wang's hand fell to the ground. He stared at me in shock, the tips of his ears turning bright red almost instantly. You, what did you just call me? The atmosphere instantly became somewhat ambiguous. Seeing Pei Wang's entire face almost completely flushed, I hesitated for a second between letting him lose face and letting him misunderstand. Yuan Bao, come here. Meow, the little kitten, hearing me call it, wagged its tail and began to struggle. Seeing that Pei Wang didn't react, the little ancestor countered with a meow punch, broke free from his hand, and jumped into my arms. Looking at Pei Wang again, he seemed to have lost all sense of pain, still staring at me in a daze. I had no choice but to quietly introduce to him, this is my cat, its full name is Jiang Yuanbao, and its nickname is Bao Bao. Yuanbao blinked its big eyes at the red-faced two-legged creature in front of it, its tail swishing like a feather duster. On the other hand, wanted to slip away before Pei Wang got angry out of shame. Well, if there's nothing else, I'll just, who would have thought that as soon as I turned around, I was called back, Jiang Wei. Pei Wang covered his face with his hand, almost squeezing the words out from between his teeth. If there weren't people around watching, I bet he would have exploded the next second. Don't you dare leave. I didn't dare move again. At this moment, the staff member from earlier finally caught up. Ms. Jiang, did you manage to catch the cat? The director said they want to see. I immediately replied, yes, yes. I can't wait to meet the director. After saying that, I walked so quickly that I didn't dare to look back at Pei Wang. Jiang Yuanbao, the kitten, finally passed the interview successfully and needs to stay on set for a month, playing the kitten raised by the male lead. When I returned, the break time had just ended, and Pei Wang had already gone to film. The staff took me on a tour of the set and finally brought me to watch Pei Wang filming. Our Mr. Pei is excellent at acting, so you can rest assured working with him, little kitten. I watch Pei Wang as he's filming. This scene happens to be his reunion with the female lead after a long separation, facing his childhood sweetheart whom he hasn't seen for years. He reveals a gentle smile. In the shot, Pei Wang looks up at the female lead, about to curve his lips into a smile. Then he sees me standing behind the camera. Cut. The director called for a stop. Pei Wang's smile is good, but it's too unrestrained. Do it again, Pei Wang. The smile didn't disappear. It just transferred from Pei Wang's face to mine. No wonder you're a director. You even noticed the micro-expressions so clearly. I found it interesting and watched a bit more while holding the cat. Until a familiar male voice sounded beside my ear. So, how about it? He looks pretty handsome when filming, right? I turned to look and held back my smile. Just came to visit the set and happened to see you. Chi Yen smiled as he looked at me, and the assistant director immediately stepped forward upon noticing him. Mr. Chi, it's fine. Carry on with your work, Chi Yen said. I've arranged for afternoon tea to be delivered shortly. Thank you, Mr. Chi. The staff members expressed their gratitude upon hearing this. Chi Yen waved his hand dismissively. Did you invest in this drama? I asked him. Yes, the best crew, the best script, specifically to make my cash cow famous. As he spoke, he looked at Pei Wang, who was filming, with great satisfaction in his eyes. This kid has the potential to become a film emperor. Hearing this, I nodded in agreement, although he came from a talent show background. It has to be admitted that Pei Wang truly has a talent for acting. Actually, it's you. Chi Yen turned to look at me. What are you doing here? I picked up the cat in my arms and waved it in front of him. The crew needed a cat, so I brought you on bow here to earn some money for cat food. Alright, I'll give the orders right away. We definitely won't mistreat our little prince. I laughed. What, are you interested in Pei Wang? Seeing me staring at Pei Wang, Chi Yen asked. Yes, I nodded. I like him and want to pursue him, Chi Yen. He looked at me in shock. But it seems he's still angry with me. Lowering my eyes, I dejectedly stroked the cat in my arms. Forget it, I'll go back and have my brother increase your investment. Your Highness, may you live 1,000 years. Would you like me to have the person tied up and delivered to your door? Pfft, I was amused. When Pei Wang finished his scene and eagerly came over to look around, he couldn't find that familiar figure. Stop looking, she had something to do and left early, Chi Yen remarked coolly from the side. Boss Chi. Only then did Pei Wang notice that his boss had come to visit the set. Do you know Jiang Wei? TSK, what a lucky guy. Chi Yen sighed while staring at Pei Wang's face. Although you're my cash cow, she's the little princess of the Su family. Someone you can't possibly reach. He and Su Cheng had grown up together, so he knew more about the Su family than most. With an older brother as the heir in the family, Chi Yen had been left to his own devices since childhood. If nothing unexpected had happened, he would have grown up to be a good-for-nothing rich second generation. After graduating from university, Su Cheng invested in this entertainment company for him, and over the years, it has actually grown quite well, having launched many artists to fame, with Pei Wang being one of them, given Pei Wang's current status in the industry. As long as he says the word, there are indeed many people eager to step up, but Jiang Wei is different. Hearing this, Pei Wang frowned. She's surnamed Jiang. Over the years in the circle, he had certainly heard of the Su family, but he had never imagined Jiang Wei would be connected to them, not to mention, back in high school, he had never heard Jiang Wei mention it. Surnamed Jiang, but part of the Su family. What's wrong with that? As he spoke, Chi Yen also grew a bit curious. What's your relationship? How did you meet? High school desk mates. Pei Wang, for some reason, suddenly felt a bit annoyed and said quietly, in our senior year of high school, she suddenly transferred schools, and I haven't seen her since. Senior year of high school. Chi Yen thought for a moment and suddenly understood. Indeed, that year the old lady of the Su family was critically ill, and she was taken back to the Su family at that time. Upon hearing this, Pei Wang suddenly looked at him. What did you say, TSK? This matter involves someone's family affairs, so I can't tell you directly. Chi Yen patted him on the shoulder. Anyway, all you need to know is that she's now a member of the Su family. Pei Wang fell silent for a long time before finally speaking slowly. So, she had her own difficulties back then. Chi Yen was simply speechless and laughed. Have you been listening to what I said at all? I've never seen such a pure love-struck fool. Early the next morning, I walked out of the study with unsteady steps. The newly posted story suddenly gained traction yesterday, yet I don't even have a single chapter in reserve. Faced with the editor's deadline pressure, I didn't even dare to tell her that I haven't finalized the outline yet. I had to rush home from the film set and stay up all night writing. I had already arranged with the film crew to bring the kitten for an audition this morning, glancing at the time. I forced myself to stay alert and took a taxi there. Thanks to Chi Yan's heads up before leaving yesterday, the film crew was noticeably more enthusiastic toward me today. The kitten was taken to the film set, and I was so exhausted that I could barely keep my eyes open. In my daze, I heard someone calling my name, Jiang Wei, come over here to sleep. Oh, my mind was too foggy to process when Pei Wang's tone had become so gentle. I walked over and collapsed onto the lounge chair, falling asleep instantly. When I woke up again, it was already afternoon, covered by a long men's down jacket. Awake, Pei Wang's voice came from beside my ear. I looked up and saw him holding Yuanbao in his arms, opening a can for it. Wait, when did he buy the can? Yuanbao, come to mommy. The kitten heard, but the kitten ignored her. Pei Wang not only bought the most expensive cat food cans but also a large bag of freeze-dried treats. Right now, the kitten was burying its head in the food, eating with great relish. Yuanbao, say goodbye to your mom, Pei Wang said, deliberately glancing at me. Daddy is never short on cans. The back of my ears suddenly felt a bit warm. I thought for a moment, suppressing my shyness, and asked seriously, Pei Wang, are you taking advantage of me? Of course not, that may be so, but the pride in Pei Wang's eyes only grew more evident. In the play, I really am its father. Do you have any objections, mother of the child? I turned my face away, my tone sullen. No. For some reason, I clearly felt that Pei Wang's attitude toward me seemed to have softened quite a bit. When he learned I would be joining the crew for a month, Pei Wang didn't say anything. The new story happened to be set in the entertainment industry, so I took the opportunity to suggest working as Pei Wang's part-time assistant to find some inspiration. Hearing this, Pei Wang pretended to be reluctant on the surface, but he subtly raised an eyebrow. The male lead is a domineering CEO. I shake my head. No, the male lead is a simp. Pei Wang, I thought for a moment, then added in a low voice, not saying you're a simp, by the way. Pei Wang was both angry and amused. For the next month, I arrived at the film set with the kitten every day, right on time. Since the male lead had many scenes with the cat, Pei Wang took some time to bond with the kitten. With all the premium canned food and freeze-dried treats, it took less than a week for them to become as close as father and son. Even during breaks, she would cling to Pei Wang and refuse to leave. As a result, the crew often saw Pei Wang sitting in a lounge chair reading the script, with a beautiful ragdoll cat purring and kneading in his arms. With her own charm, the little cat Jiang Yuanbao successfully won over a group of people, including the director. The day the kitten scenes wrapped up happened to be New Year's Eve, and everyone even threw a farewell party for her. I was in high spirits and ended up drinking a few glasses along with them. Then, as expected, I got drunk. Pei Wang had to attend the New Year's Day event the next day, so he took a day off from the film crew. When the driver came to pick him up, he gave me a ride along the way. The heating in the car was turned up high, and the kitten fell asleep in Pei Wang's arms as soon as it got in. Pei Wang had also drunk quite a bit tonight and was now leaning back in his seat, resting with his eyes closed. I cracked the window open a little, letting the cold winter wind blow against my face, dispersing the lingering warmth from the alcohol, until Pei Wang suddenly said, "Don't keep the window open for too long. It's been cold lately. Don't catch a cold." The driver in front also chimed in. "This winter seems especially cold. I remember the last time it was this cold was probably 6 years ago. That year, the snowfall was really heavy." Hearing this, my eyelashes fluttered slightly. When we arrived at the entrance of the residential complex, Yuanbao was still nestled in Pei Wang's arms, refusing to move. I was wondering whether to wake it up when Pei Wang had already stepped out of the car. "Let's go. You've been drinking. I'll take you up." The winter night was cold, but the body after drinking felt feverish. I looked at Pei Wang, nodding blankly. But it wasn't until Pei Wang had brought me to my doorstep and was about to leave that I realized I had overthought things. Watching him place the sleeping kitten into the cat bed and about to turn away, without thinking, I grabbed his sleeve. Pei Wang turned to look at me, puzzled. Could you?" I racked my brain but could only come up with the weakest excuse. "Could you sing me a song?" Pei Wang debuted through a talent show, so singing and dancing were naturally no problem for him. It's just that no one had ever tugged at his clothes like this before. Asking him to sing for her, Pei Wang couldn't help but laugh, then crouched down to meet my eyes as I sat on the sofa. Jiang Wei, do you know how much my appearance fee is per minute? My mind was unusually slow after getting drunk. It took me several seconds to react. Looking into his eyes, I slowly said, "No, it's fine. I have money." "Oh," Pei Wang chuckled softly, "I almost forgot. You're the eldest daughter of the Su family." I looked at him in confusion, curious about how he knew my identity. I dare not disobey the young lady's request. He paused, slowing his tone and adding a hint of coaxing. "But if I sing for the young lady, what benefit can you give me in return?" Tempted by his beauty, I replied without hesitation, "Whatever you want. As long as I have it, anything." He joked. "Can I even win Best Actor?" "Well, that's a bit difficult." I hesitated. "But it's not impossible. If I go back and beg my brother on my knees, he might just agree." Pfft. The person on the other end was amused by me. "Forget it." He looked at me with a smile, his tone so gentle it was almost unbelievable. "I was just teasing you." The familiar words instantly reminded me of the love letter tucked away in the photo album. I looked at Pei Wang in front of me and suddenly reached out. Cupping his face in my hands, "Pei Wang, meeting his puzzled gaze, I whispered softly, "Can you please stop hating me?" Pei Wang was taken aback for a moment, then his eyelashes fluttered, and he lowered his eyes without saying a word. My heart suddenly began to ache again, and I sniffled. "Were you very cold on that New Year's Eve night 6 years ago in winter? What were you thinking in your heart while standing alone in the square waiting for me?" Pei Wang remained silent. After a long time, just as I was drifting off to sleep, the person across from me finally reacted. "Yeah, it's really cold," he spoke, his voice very soft and quiet. "So, Jiang Wei, don't leave me in this winter anymore." I didn't reply, having already fallen asleep on the sofa. Only in the dream, Pei Wang did not leave, but instead hummed softly, gently patting me to sleep. The song was so tender that I unconsciously relaxed my furrowed brow. The last memory was someone leaning close to my ear, softly calling, "Baby," probably calling for the cat. My brain felt like mush after the hangover. When I woke up in bed the next day, I thought for a long time but couldn't figure out how I got back to my room. There were several unread messages on my phone, some from my brother, some from Zhou Yuan, and some from Pei Wang. My brother's message is to tell me that he's coming back to China next month. Zhou Yuan's message is asking me why I didn't send her the first New Year's Eve greeting last night, and if I don't love her anymore. As for Pei Wang's, looking at the message on the screen, I suddenly felt like I couldn't read. "Pei Wang, I made you some hangover soup, remember to drink it." I thought about it and tentatively replied to him, "Jiang Wei, did I say something wrong again after getting drunk yesterday?" Pei Wang responded instantly, Pei Wang, don't worry, it's not poisoned." Smiley face. Alright, feeling reassured, I got up, washed up, and went to heat up the hangover soup to drink. While drinking, I replied to each unread message one by one, after selectively ignoring the editor's message that was disguised as a blessing but was actually a reminder to submit my manuscript. I habitually opened Weibo. Then, I saw that 10 hours ago late at night, Pei Wang posted a status update. "Pei Wang v. Urgent. How do you make a hangover soup that tastes good?" Looking at the comments section, many fans shared their family recipes for hangover soup, and some were concerned about whether Pei Wang was drunk. Pei Wang replied to the popular comment that showed concern for him, "No, it's a family member who got drunk, my family." Looking at the hangover soup in the bowl, I suddenly felt it was no longer just an ordinary bowl of hangover soup. Damn. I actually suspected Pei Wang might have poisoned it. I'm so terrible. I promised to be Pei Wang's part-time assistant, so during this period, I continued to report to the film crew on time every day. Over time, everyone else also found out that Pei Wang and I were old classmates. Occasionally during breaks, when chatting, some people would gossip with me. "Teacher Pei is so handsome. Did a lot of people chase him in high school?" I thought about it. Not that many, I think. I remember one Valentine's Day, many boys in the class received chocolates, but he didn't get any, so he asked me for some. I ended up just buying him a random one from the convenience store, and he was so happy. Wait, something doesn't seem right. It suddenly dawned on me. someone who regularly receives love letters every now and then, would they really not get any chocolate on Valentine's Day? I suddenly seemed to have understood something. Just then, Pei Wang returned from the set. Seeing me still chatting with others, he frowned. Didn't you say you were going to be my assistant? The water has already gone cold. Yet I just looked at him, my gaze filled with melancholy. Was the chocolate I casually bought for you on Valentine's Day in our first year of high school delicious, Pei Wang? And where did you hide all the other chocolates people gave you? Behind my back. I suddenly feel that not everything needs to be left to the assistant. It's just hot water, I can pour it myself. With that, Pei Wang turned around and went to pour the hot water. As for me, I watched his retreating figure and found it somewhat amusing. So it was that early, on the day the film crew wrapped up, my novel also happened to be completed. Over the past few months, I gained a lot, and the novel's data saw a huge surge after its completion. My editor told me that many people have already approached her wanting to buy the rights. And she is currently screening them one by one. On the day of the wrap-up party, Pei Wang and I arrived together. As the year-end approached, Qi Yan, despite being very busy, still made a personal appearance. I just didn't expect my brother to come with him. At the first sight of Su Cheng, I instinctively held back the smile on my face and honestly called out, "Brother." Su Cheng responded, then frowned as his gaze fell on Pei Wang beside me. Seeing this, Pei Wang was visibly nervous. "Hello. Mr. Su, I'm Pei Wang." Su Cheng gave a slight nod in acknowledgement. He had always been aloof. 6 years ago, that afternoon, when he first knocked on my door, it was just like this. At that moment, I was about to head out for an appointment, but when I opened the door and saw Su Cheng and the bodyguard behind him, I was immediately startled. Who are you looking for? Xiao Wei, who's there?" Seeing that I hadn't made a sound for a long time, my mother in the kitchen came out curiously to check on the situation. When her gaze fell on Su Cheng's face, she also froze. "Hello, I'm Su Cheng." The man glanced around the furnishings in the room, and when his eyes finally landed on my face, which bore a slight resemblance to his, they flickered slightly. "Grandma is seriously ill and wants to see you and your mother." As soon as the words were spoken, I saw my mother's face instantly turn very unpleasant. In the end, she still nodded. "All right. I'll pack up a bit." So, I, who was originally about to go out for an appointment, was taken back to the Su family's old house just like that, and learned about my origins from Su Cheng, my half-brother. It was not that my biological father died early as my mother said, nor was it a case of being switched at birth as written in novels. My biological father is the only son of the wealthy Su family, and I am the product of his extramarital affair, the legendary illegitimate daughter. A presence that cannot see the light of day. Back then, Mr. Su followed his family's arrangements, entered into a business marriage, and gave birth to Su Cheng, the eldest grandson. Within a few years, the couple's feelings for each other faded, so during a long-term business trip, he pretended to be single and started a relationship with my mother, and then I was born. When Mom wanted to discuss marriage with him, she realized she had been deceived. The Su family is vast and powerful, making it impossible for ordinary people to stand against them. Moreover, given Mr. Su's status, no one would believe she was deceived. In the end, due to my mother's poor health, having an abortion would have been life-threatening, so she was forced to give birth to me and chose to raise me alone. It's a very cliché story, with the man who was the root cause perfectly disappearing from the picture. By the time I was taken to the Su family, I realized that I had left in such a hurry that I forgot to bring my phone. The heating inside the room was turned up high, but as I sat outside the ward, I still felt my hands and feet growing cold. My mind seemed to stop thinking at that moment, only numbly receiving the information coming from the outside world. I met my biological father, and I also met his nominal wife. Su Cheng's mother was a very beautiful woman. Facing her, my mother instinctively felt guilty and at a loss. "Mrs. Su." Her eyes welled up with tears, unsure of what to say, but Mrs. Su simply smiled and took her hand. "It's all right. I know it's not your fault. I don't blame you." As she spoke, she turned her gaze toward me. "The little girl looks so much like our Cheng, both take after their grandmother." She didn't say I look like my biological father, only that I resemble my brother and grandmother. Father Su, standing nearby, furrowed his brows as if wanting to object. the next second. Su Cheng pushed the door open, and Su's father immediately became obedient again. "Grandma wants to see you," Su Cheng said, "and so, I met my biological grandmother. In the past, I had only seen this woman in magazines and newspapers. I knew she had built her own business empire single-handedly, and I was also aware that public opinion about her was mixed, with her romantic history being the most discussed topic. The world is always particularly harsh on women. It seems that in the eyes of outsiders, how she earns so much money is not important. Her rise as a woman must inevitably be tied to a man, but the moment I saw her, I knew she was absolutely not what the outside world said she was, because the way she looked at me was so gentle. She lay there so weakly on the hospital bed, yet she was apologizing to her mother. "I'm sorry. It's my fault for not disciplining my son properly, which caused you so much suffering. It must have been very difficult raising a child alone, wasn't it? As a mother, you are very strong and brave." In just a few words, she brought tears to her mother's eyes. For so many years, she had felt countless pangs of guilt and regret, believing she had destroyed someone else's family, yet no one had ever said these words to her. "What's your name?" the old lady asked me softly. "Jiang Wei," I replied. "A very good name." The old lady smiled. "Your mother raised you well." After saying these words, the elderly woman was already extremely weak, but she still forced herself to say to Su Cheng beside her, "Ah Cheng, remember, this is your sister. Your father is useless. If the company is handed over to him, it will be ruined sooner or later. I have already prepared my will in advance. After I die, the company and shares will go to you. You can be your own master from then on, but all the properties and shops under my name, as well as all my jewelry, will be left to Jiang Wei. Do you have any objections?" "I have no objections, Grandma." Su Cheng was raised by his grandmother since childhood and never contradicted her. Only Su Cheng's father, standing nearby, dared to be angry but not speak out. It wasn't until he left the hospital room that he finally exploded. "What does Mom mean by this? I am her own son. Why should she leave the company and property to her grandchildren?" "Shut up. How dare you ask why, Mrs. Su beside her did not hide her disgust and disdain. "I really had the worst luck marrying you back then. If you weren't Cheng's biological father, I'd find it disgusting just to look at you." With that, she turned to look at me. "Little Jiang Wei, I'm very happy to meet you today. If you have any problems in the future, just talk to Auntie and your brother." "Oh, okay." I stared blankly at the scene before me, feeling that this wealthy family was not quite what I had imagined. Mr. Su, not receiving support from his wife, turned to look at my mother. Seeing that my mother didn't want to pay him any attention either, he completely lost it. "Why do even you look down on me?" In the end, it was Su Cheng who walked out of the hospital room, with just one glance from him. Su's father immediately fell silent. As for me, I was taken by Su Cheng to a medical institution under the Su family's name for a paternity test. Seeing that I hadn't spoken the entire time, Su Cheng glanced at me. "No need to be nervous. The inheritance you're about to receive is no small amount. This is just standard procedure." I nodded woodenly. The wait felt interminable. Even though Su Cheng had expedited it, I still felt like each day dragged on. It wasn't until the freshly printed paternity test report was delivered to Su Cheng that he finally set aside the document he was reading on his tablet and walked over to me. "Let me reintroduce myself. Hello, Jiang Wei. I am Su Cheng." He looked down at me. "He is your half-brother from the same father." Coming back to my senses, I heard Su Cheng asking me, "I heard the novel you wrote has become a hit. Are you interested in selling the rights?" "Oh, my little sister is so impressive." Qi Yan, who was standing nearby, raised an eyebrow with interest upon hearing this. "What's the name of the novel? I'll have my people get in touch with you after I get back." "Price isn't the issue. It's mainly that we feel more assured buying it ourselves to film." In just a few words, the matter seemed to be settled. Out of the corner of my eye, I noticed Pei Wang's gaze darkening, and my heart tightened. "I do want to sell the copyright, but I'd like Pei Wang to play the male lead in my story. Is that possible?" As soon as the words were spoken, Pei Wang looked at me in surprise. Su Cheng frowned imperceptibly, while Qi Yan smiled. "Of course you can." At that moment, someone came up to greet them, and Qi Yan picked up his wine glass to go socialize, leaving me, Pei Wang, and my brother staring at each other. In the end, Su Cheng was the first to speak. He looked at Pei Wang and asked, shall we talk? Pei Wang nodded. Me, did anyone ask for my opinion? But I didn't dare argue with my brother, so in the end, I could only watch helplessly as the two of them left, then turned to look at my brother's assistant. Do you think my brother will just whip out a check right away? The assistant thought for a moment. The CEO doesn't seem to have that habit. Oh, that's good then. I have no idea what the two of them talked about, but after that day, Pei Wang went quiet for quite a while and didn't even assign me any assistant work. Until one night a month later, Pei Wang and I ended up trending together on social media. No one knows who captured the scene of Pei Wang seeing me home that night, and even the headline was almost identical to the one I had made up earlier. Hashtag Pei Wang secretly meets mysterious woman late at night. Suspected romance exposed. Hashtag Pei Wang is currently at the peak of his popularity, and his last drama just wrapped up not long ago. As soon as this hot search topic emerged, it immediately shot into the top 3. Passers-by and fans alike joined in the gossip, while various marketing accounts spread rumors, making Pei Wang the target of public criticism in no time. However, before public opinion could continue to ferment, some noticed that the trending topics were starting to lose heat, and many related hashtags disappeared instantly when clicked. Pei Wang's talent agency also issued a stamped legal letter at this time. Some keen observers among the gossip enthusiasts had already sensed something was off. What's going on? The heat was pulled down so quickly this time. Could it be that capital has stepped in? Rumor has it, the woman's background is not simple, but I can't say more. Alright, Pei Wang, you've really managed to climb up the social ladder. So, is the relationship rumor true or false? In my opinion, it's most likely true. Zhou Yuan called as soon as she saw the trending topic. What's going on? Are you and Pei Wang together? Not at all. I was also extremely anxious at the moment. Although I knew that Pei Wang had taken me home that night, I never expected someone to have taken a photo of it. What a great sin it would be if Pei Wang were implicated because of me. Take down the trending topic, no matter how much it costs. Get it removed. Just as I was about to call Qi Yan again, Pei Wang suddenly sent me a message. Pei Wang, Jiang Wei, don't worry about it. I'll handle the response. But I was even more nervous about his future than he was, and immediately started typing. Jiang Wei, don't be impulsive. It's really no big deal if I get talked about a bit. Pei Wang didn't reply. A few minutes later, Zhou Yuan directly sent me a 10-second voice message of screaming, hurry, quick, look at Pei Wang's Weibo. Hearing this, I instinctively opened Weibo, but it was so laggy I almost closed the app. 10 minutes later, when I finally managed to log into Weibo, Pei Wang's post had already exploded with activity, all because Pei Wang had posted that group photo I had on my computer and responded to it openly. Pei Wang V, she is the one I've had a crush on since my youth, and also the goal I've been striving for. Looking at this Weibo post, I feel like my heart is a shaken bottle of peach soda, bubbling up frantically. At this moment, I suddenly thought of that love letter that has already turned yellow with age. After all these years, the love that I couldn't express back then has finally been openly revealed in the sunlight. Ding! A message from Pei Wang came through on the phone. Pei Wang, come downstairs. I practically leaped out of bed, not even bothering to change out of my pajamas, and rushed out the door after hastily throwing on a down jacket. It wasn't until I got downstairs that I realized it was snowing outside. Pei Wang, who was just trending on social media, is now standing right in front of me. I wanted to rush over and hug him, but I was afraid of being photographed again, so I had to sneak over, looking around as I walked. How did you get here? It's so dangerous. Before I could finish speaking, Pei Wang pulled me into a hug. What are you sneaking around for? Am I really that embarrassing to be seen with? Hey! Watch your manners, don't get handsy. I struggled a few times, but seeing that I couldn't break free, I had no choice but to reluctantly accept it. I buried my head in his chest, my voice muffled as I said, I'm your career fan. Pei Wang raised an eyebrow. I thought you were a fan of my looks. Am I really that shallow? Oh, then who put my photo in the most prominent spot in the study? I lifted my head from his embrace, feeling a bit embarrassed. How come you're touring my house without my permission again? Some drunkard passed out on the sofa and wouldn't wake up. I had to get her back to her room, didn't I? How else was I supposed to know which one was the bedroom and which was the study without looking? I have nothing to say. He makes a very good point. Alright, You've seen him now, and you have work tomorrow, right? You should head back, having worked as Pei Wang's part-time assistant for a while. I have a clear understanding of his schedule. Pei Wang, are you sure there's nothing you want to say to me? I shook my head. All right, then I'm leaving. Pei Wang got angry again. He said he was leaving, but he deliberately walked very, very slowly, taking 3 steps with a small gesture and 5 steps with a big turn, and I just watched him act like that. Sure enough, Pei Wang, who didn't get any attempt to stop him, flew into a rage out of humiliation. Jiang Wei, if you don't try to keep me, I'm really leaving. I thought about it. Pei Wang, are you acting cute? Pei Wang fell silent, his face flushing red. Sigh, what else can I do then? Pei Wang, my cat can do backflips. Do you want to go up and see? Pei Wang returned in just a few steps. Let's go. I can't wait to see our Yuan Bao do a backflip. A year later, the film adaptation of my first novel officially began production. Pei Wang plays my male lead. After the TV series aired, what exploded before the plot was actually the theme song, the TV series' eponymous theme song, Love Letter, composed and written by Pei Wang himself, swept across major apps that summer, becoming the go-to BGM for viral videos. Everyone knows that this song was written by Pei Wang for the girl he had a crush on when he was 18. That year, there was a trending post online. When you forget someone, do you forget their voice first, or their appearance? The top-rated answer below was, neither. You forget their flaws first, but I only remember the good things about you, Pei Wang said with a helpless smile. So, at 18, he wrote this song. I remember the way you looked down while writing. Your handwriting on the test paper was so beautiful. I remember when you lay on the desk for a nap. Your heartbeat couldn't be hidden even by the sound of your breathing. I remember every strand of hair that flew freely as you ran on the playground. I think this is probably what a secret crush is all about. I remember every look of yours, having been part of every moment of your youth's growth, yet in the end, I could only stand far across the sea of people, listening as you wished me a smooth journey in the stars. My first novel adapted into a TV series just exploded with the help of Love Letter. Everyone knows that the original author is the girl Pei Wang secretly loved when he was 18, at the celebration banquet. Fans jokingly said that Pei Wang had finally climbed up to a high branch this time. To this, Pei Wang felt no shame but rather took it as an honor. After all, I truly have the audacity to aim high. I was amused by his words. Miss, oh no, it should be great writer now. Pei Wang smiled as he looked at me, pulled out a ring from somewhere, and suddenly knelt down on one knee. Will you give me this opportunity? After the shock, with reddened eyes and covering my mouth, I extended my hand to him. That depends on your performance. Just kidding, actually. From the moment I saw that love letter, I had imagined this day would come. End of main text. Extra story. Su Cheng, the day Pei Wang won the Best Actor award, the happiest person was Qi Yan. I have to say, your eye for talent is spot on. He rushed into Su Cheng's office, so excited he could have bowed down to him. Back when you recommended her to me, I wasn't too keen. Looking back now, I was truly short-sighted. I almost missed out on a cash cow. Su Cheng set down the documents in his hand and, unusually, also smiled. Our little sister is quite impressive too. Her first novel adaptation into a TV series was a huge hit. Does your family have some kind of money-making gene or something? As he spoke, Qi Yan seemed to remember something. I remember back in your teenage Chinibu phase, you used to talk all the time about wanting to be a writer someday. Su Cheng. Then in high school, when a bunch of girls were chasing after you and praising you for being handsome, you said you wanted to debut as an idol. Su Cheng, TSK, time really spares no one. How did you end up becoming such a cold and domineering CEO later on? Su Cheng was truly rubbing his temples in frustration now. Having a childhood friend is the downside. They know all your embarrassing past. You know my family situation, Su Cheng said calmly. The circumstances didn't allow for it. At that time, he was the only heir in the Su family, raised by his grandmother and mother since childhood. He might have had many immature dreams in his youth, and his mother and grandmother never hesitated to praise him. He grew up surrounded by the love of women, so when he learned that his parents had long since fallen out of love and that he had a half-sister, he realized he needed to grow up. Honestly, in your family's situation, Any other rich second-generation kid wouldn't be so tolerant of illegitimate children. You're the exception, Qi Yan remarked with a sigh. It's not their fault, Su Cheng said softly. He himself was raised by two women, and he knew how difficult it was for women. Even someone as outstanding as his grandmother, a legendary figure, was often talked about for her romantic experiences in daily life. He didn't want his sister to go through those things either. When Grandma passed away, the Su family was beset by internal and external troubles, with a group of relatives and uncles eyeing the siblings covetously. He had no choice but to transfer Jiang Wei to another school to protect her. Later, when he learned she wanted to be a writer, he gave her his full support. After all, she was his only sister. Speaking of which, what did you and Pei Wang talk about during that private conversation? Hearing this, Su Cheng thought for a moment and couldn't help but laugh. What did you talk about? I told him that Jiang Wei is the only girl in the Su family of this generation, and the dowry prepared for her by the Su family is very expensive. And then, did you ask him to provide an equally valuable betrothal gift? Qi Yan was almost starting to calculate how much money Pei Wang had earned over the years. But no matter how much it was, how could it compare to the Su family? In response, Su Cheng merely chuckled softly. No, I'm asking him to marry into our family. Huh? Qi Yan was dumbfounded, and he agreed without hesitation. A true, purebred love fool. Extra, Pei Wang. Jiang Wei transferred schools. When he heard the news, Pei Wang was lying in bed with a high fever. On New Year's Eve, he waited alone in the square from day until night, and in the end, he sent that message to Jiang Wei out of frustration. Jiang Wei, I'm not waiting for you anymore. At that time, he thought Jiang Wei had simply missed their appointment due to some temporary matter. Little did he expect that the next time he heard news of her, she had already transferred schools. Just the day before, they had been together, dreaming about the future, and Jiang Wei had even promised to become his agent someday. Little liar. On the day he received the invitation to the class reunion, Pei Wang had just finished an all-night shoot. He was incredibly busy during that time. And when he saw the message, he initially thought of refusing as he had before, but he fell silent after receiving Zhou Yuan's message. Zhou Yuan said that Jiang Wei would also be going. He hesitated for a long time but eventually asked the film crew for half a day off. The reason he gave was to attend a high school reunion. The first time he saw Jiang Wei, he had intended to feign indifference and ask who she was. But the moment he saw her tears, his heart gave a sharp, painful twitch. Why are you crying? As the words left his mouth, he instinctively reached out to wipe away her tears, only to stop himself abruptly when he realized the setting they were in. Damn it, didn't we agree to at least give her the cold shoulder? How could I not hold back as soon as we met? So useless. Just as the meal was nearly finished, Jiang Wei stepped out for a moment. He immediately followed, so when Jiang Wei came out of the restroom, what she saw was him with his sleeves rolled up, revealing the muscles of his forearms, a cigarette dangling from his lips, and a roguish look on his face. For a previous role that required it, he had practiced countless times in front of the mirror, knowing exactly how to look at someone most handsomely. Sure enough, a hint of admiration flickered in Jiang Wei's eyes. The next second, she sneezed. Pei Wang, seeing that she was about to go inside, Pei Wang grew anxious. Jiang Wei, if I don't come looking for you, will you never take the initiative to find me? Jiang Wei was somewhat taken aback. But it was you who pretended not to know me first. Yet, he was just unwilling to accept it. He is unwilling to accept that he is the only one left behind in the memories. Jiang Wei, do you have any conscience at all? If you have even a shred of conscience, you should feel indebted to me, even if it's just a little bit, please. He couldn't bring himself to say the rest. So he irritably ruffled his hair and turned to stride back into the private room. Jiang Wei, with her face wrapped in a scarf, looked adorable. He watched him trying to exhale a breath, his bangs standing straight up from the force, and he almost couldn't hold back a laugh. In the end, he managed to stifle it. Was he really that soft-hearted? On the way back, listening to Brother Zhou and Jiang Wei chatting in the front, he couldn't help but let out a soft whimper, until Brother Zhou got annoyed. Pei Wang, what's your problem? If you're uncomfortable, just scratch it. I'm chatting with an old classmate. Who are you groaning and moaning for? As soon as he finished speaking, he saw Jiang Wei in the front seat gently curl up the corners of his lips through the rear-view mirror. Are you that happy to hear him get scolded? He's unhappy again. As Jiang Wei got out of the car, it began to snow outside, a cold wind blew in, and he instinctively started coughing. Ever since that serious illness years ago, his body has become particularly fragile in the winter. It was just a couple of coughs at first, but after seeing Jiang Wei's obvious concern, he coughed even harder. Then he heard Jiang Wei say, "It's been cold lately. If your throat is bothering you, you should cut back on smoking." But then Brother Zhou, that big fool, exposed him in an instant. "What smoking? Pei Wang doesn't smoke. How dare a public figure like him smoke? If he gets caught on camera, he'll be torn to pieces." He kicked the front seat hard, covering his mouth as he coughed until his face turned red, mostly out of sheer frustration and anger. "Shut up, or I'll smack you." He thought he was making a grand statement, but instead, he ended up making a huge blunder. Jiang Wei has a cat, and its nickname is Baby. Pei Wang has never been so embarrassed in his life. Would Jiang Wei think he's being too presumptuous? But who told her to call out, "Baby," right in front of him? So the little cat's nickname is Baby. Why can't I call it that? He struggled internally for a while, but in the end, he called his assistant, "Go buy some cat canned food and freeze-dried treats, and make sure to get the best." The cat is a good cat. It would be even better if it could recognize him as its dad. Then he learned about Jiang Wei's identity from Qi Yan, a wealthy family's illegitimate daughter. A possibility he had never considered before. So, did she have her own difficulties back then? Pei Wang suddenly felt deflated. What is he doing? I died on a snowy day. On the night he sent Jiang Wei home, he admitted he had his own selfish motives, yet when Jiang Wei asked him, he remained silent for a long time. On that New Year's Eve 6 years ago, in the winter, were you very cold? He then tried hard to recall. On that snowy New Year's Eve 6 years ago. As he watched the crowds coming and going in the square and listened to the young couple beside him counting down together, what was he thinking about in his heart? Jiang Wei was almost asleep. He spoke softly, almost pleading, "Yes, it's very cold. So, Jiang Wei, don't leave me in this winter anymore." Jiang Wei had fallen completely asleep and did not respond to him. Yes, even so, he still likes her so much.